Aloha guys, Dr. Tom is back, coming at you once again. Today we're going to study Chapter 20 of the Lymphatic System, or we're going to review the PowerPoints for it. Okay, we have two circulatory systems in the body, the one, the familiar one that we all know, and the other is the lymphatic system, which is also very extensive and very important. The lymphatic system, three main functions: return interstitial fluid to the blood. What's interstitial fluid? The clear watery fluid just out through the tissues of the body. Absorb fat and fat-soluble vitamins through microvilli at the lacteals, which we should remember from the digestive system. Helps the body defend itself against infection. Okay, remember oncotic pressure. Yes, we have plasma proteins like albumin. The more stuff that's dissolved in the blood, the more it tends to withdraw fluids out of the interstitial area in order to remember, nature tries to reach an equilibrium. So if we don't have enough, or like here, electrolytes are escaping out into the tissues, water and glucose and stuff will be drawn with it, and you'll end up with this. This is lymphedema, that's what everybody calls it. Now, under normal circumstances, you're not going to look like this, but okay, what is lymph? A clear fluid that resembles plasma. I always say it's like what's in a blister. Composed primarily of water, electrolytes like sodium and potassium, waste from metabolizing cells, and some protein that leaks out of the capillaries of the systemic circulation. It's formed from the plasma during capillary exchange. Remember, plasma is the liquid portion of the blood. In capillary exchange, the lymphatic system forms. Here's the venule, here's the little capillaries. Lymphatic vessels drain interstitial fluid, run parallel to the veins. They're always usually depicted in green. Yes. Every organ of the body has a rich supply of lymphatic vessels. It's really extensive and it's really important. Now, you're going to be in for a shock when you see this next picture. This is lymphedema. Now, do I need to say what this is lymphedema of? Yes, it's his scrotum. What can I say other than thank God it's not me. Here's another picture. I don't know if this is the same guy or not. It's really sad. I don't know, guys, actually what they can do for this. I don't know if they can drain it or trim away a bunch of it. I don't know. Here's it looks to be a female. Lymphedema of the lower extremities. Look at this. It's just sad beyond belief. It tells in the book, too, guys, a little bit more about the history. Here's someone with lymphedema, perhaps from a mastectomy. I would, if I had to guess, I'd say that's why. See, it looks to me like that would be, with the stretching on the tissue and all, that would be horrifically painful, but golly. After 5 days, looks like an elephant skin. So some of this, guys, can be quite serious. I mean, there has to be reasons for it. But as I say, sometimes surgery, or if there's lymph nodes are clogged up with debris and stuff, cancerous cells. What makes lymph move? Milking action of skeletal muscles, similar to venous return. Movement of the chest during respiration creates variations in pressure. Rhythmic contractions of lymphatic smooth muscle. Vessel walls contract to push the lymph along. So in some ways, guys, very similar to venous return. Okay, the lymph fluid drains into two ducts in the body. And it's not equal, surprisingly. Like I said, so often there's an equilibrium, but there's the right lymphatic duct drains 25%, and the thoracic duct drains the other 75%. Everything in gray, the lymphatic fluid from that area drains into the thoracic duct. The colored portion, flesh tone, whatever you want to say, drains into the lymphatic duct. And then both ducts drain into the subclavian vein. Okay, there are organs that are known as lymphoid organs. Of course, lymph nodes. The tonsils are lymphoid organs. The thymus gland posterior to the breast, to the sternum, is a very important lymphoid gland. The organ, the spleen. Mucosal associated lymphoid tissue mold is all out through and attached to lymphatic mucosal membranes, tissues. Okay. Lymph nodes. Two compartments. It's the lymph nodules, lymphocytes and macrophages, immunophagocytes. Lymph sinuses are lymph field spaces, bathe lymph nodules. We have a large supply of lymphocytes and macrophages. Yes. Monocytes, when they migrate out into the tissue, becomes known as macrophages. I wish they'd have made that plain. So lymph is coming in and it's filtered and it goes back out again. It traps bacteria and particulate matter and viruses and cancerous tissue and stuff. So they're very important. And as I say, the lady with the misfortune, for example, of having a mastectomy and they have to remove some of the chains of lymph nodes, it disrupts the lymphatic flow, and that's why they tend to have the ones I've seen. They don't have lymphedema all the time, but it flares up on it sometimes. I've treated it. I've massaged their arm and worked it back up. Lymphatic system. Let's see. Diffuse lymphatic vessels drain most of the body. There are groups of lymph nodes. The ones in the neck, of course, are called the cervical nodes. The ones in the armpit area are the axillary nodes. And the ones in the groin or inguinal region are called the inguinal nodes. Notice we got some around the knees and all too, but these are the biggies. Lymphoid organs, the tonsils. The full name actually, guys, is palatine tonsil. Pharyngeal tonsil. I don't remember learning about that. I'm not saying it's not correct. Palatine tonsil often targeted for tonsillectomy. Take them out. Pharyngeal tonsils are adenoids. Oh, okay. I always knew them as adenoids. Lingual tonsils. The palatine tonsils are the tonsils. Guys, they used to jerk them out of kids right and left, going all the time. Tonsils have no function in the human body. They're a vestigial organ, and they're not needed anymore. Yeah, that's not true. That's the hogwash they were putting out. My mother was a little girl and had them out, and I remember her talking about that. She became a nurse later. Said how they passed it to her lung. Now, there are certainly times, guys, that they have to be removed. Yeah, because they can swell up and actually cause problems interfering with breathing. But, yeah, they were cutting them out right and left back a few decades ago. A little bit knife happy. You always got to watch them, guys. Lymphoid organ, the thymus gland. Assists development of the immune system before puberty. They always say, oh, in the adult, it's atrophied and serves no function. Oh, yeah, well, it secretes thymosins. It also produces T lymphocytes. T stands for thymus. Now, they're not made here in hemopoiesis. They're made in the red bone marrow, but they migrate here for processing. So, yeah, most certainly, it has more of a function in childhood before puberty, but it's quite active in adults too. Very important. T lymphocytes are processed in the thymus. The spleen. Spleen's in the abdominal area. Red pulp venous sinus is filled with blood and phagocytes. A phagocyte are like Pac-Man. White pulp contains lymphocytes. Remember, lymphocytes, second most common white blood cell, they primarily attack viruses. Stored red blood cells and platelets. Yes, the spleen has a safety supply of extra blood cells in case we need some quickly. It also filters and removes old red blood cells and platelets, and they're recycled. Red blood cells, guys, have a lifespan of about 120 days. I didn't say that before. So we're using them and making them, and they're being recycled and reborn all the time. And the spleen plays a big role in that. Disorders of the lymphatic system. Cancer or several types of malignant tumors affect lymphatic, like lymphoma is Hodgkin's lymphoma, are cancers directly of the lymphatic system. Lymphadenitis means inflammation or infection present when fighting an infection. If you get a problem, you might notice the lymph nodes in your neck here swelling around, your ears swell up if you have like some kind of a problem going on there. Lymphadenopathy accompanies infection and or cancer. Lymphadenitis, usually caused by strep or staph infection. These are types of bacteria, streptococcus and staphylococcus, characterized by fine red streaks from the affected area. Finished. All right. But that's only part of it, guys, and the next part is really complicated. We'll only get part way into this. The immune system. The immune system, guys, is of very great interest to me, and it has a massive job to do in the body. Specific immunity protects against one substance. Nonspecific immunity protects against many substances. So let's see. I don't like the way they've got this organized. There's two kinds of lymphocytes, basically. There's T cells, remember, trained in the thymus gland, and there are B cells that make antibodies. Antibodies are what protect us. This is specific. Non-specific, let's see. Well, first line of defense is chemical barriers like skin, reflexes, tears, acid in the stomach that protects against infection. The second, inflammation, fever, natural killer cells, which also are a type of lymphocyte, protective proteins. And then third is specific. So our skin hopefully will protect us from getting an infection, but if it does get in there, then we run a fever and it gets inflamed, and eventually antibodies and stuff will be produced to fight it. What are some of the things that we have to worry about? Well, fungus, cancer, parasites, viruses, bacterium. Bacterium is singular. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can understand this. Non-specific immunity. First line is mechanical or chemical barriers, reflexes, like the skin. Second line is phagocytosis, Pac-Man. Inflammation, fever, which is pyrexia is the medical term for it. Why, guys? Chemical reactions happen faster in higher temperatures, and the various things that need to take place move faster when there's a high temperature. Protective proteins, interferons, complement proteins, natural killer cells. These hunt down and destroy cancerous tissue. Specific immunity. Third line, we have B and T lymphocytes, macrophages. B cells, AB mediated immunity, 20 or 30% of the blood are B cells. B cells produce antibodies. T cells, most of them are T cells I'm sorry, I'm getting tired. I've done several of these today. 78% of these blood lymphocytes are T cells, and they're specifically trained by the thymus gland to pick out and destroy things that need to be destroyed. That's why it's such a miraculous process as it takes place there. Okay, specific immunity protects against one specific thing. We also, or if you got like me, and you got a vaccine for the COVID-19 virus, it's produced antibodies by the B lymphocyte cells. Again, I'm sorry, I'm starting to get fatigued. Nonspecific immunity protects against many things: mechanical barriers, chemical barriers like stomach acid, reflexes, sneezing, coughing. Hopefully, prevents a pathogenic organism from getting into the lung. Okay, so we're going back over that. All examples of nonspecific. I question why natural killer cells would be a nonspecific, because they don't just go crazy, they kill certain things. I question this, but the rest of it. Phagocytosis. Leukocytes go to the site of infection. Diapedesis, remember, they can squeeze out through the cell pores. Chemotaxis, they're drawn into the area by the chemicals that damaged tissue secrete. Like a bloodhound, they can smell their way there. Leukocytes eat pathogens, cellular debris, like Pac-Man. How far are we here? Okay, inflammation. Recognized since ancient times, redness, heat, swelling, pain are all characteristics of it. It has to be controlled. It gets out of line sometimes and causes problems. We're running out of time. We'll pick up here next time. Dr. Thomas signing off.